Do you ever feel like sugar has this crazy hold on you? Like, no matter how strong you are, it always finds a way to pull you back in. I get it. That was me for years. I swore I'd just have one cookie, one piece of candy, and one treat to celebrate, to unwind, especially on Halloween. Halloween's all about candy, right? But once, but I always, you know, turned it into more. And before I knew it, I was right back under a candy curse. I was exhausted, foggy, emotional, and wondering why I couldn't stop. It wasn't willpower. It wasn't even weakness. It was a literal spell, or at least it felt like that. And today, I want to share how I finally broke free from it. Because if you feel like sugar runs your life, or your moods, or your cravings, you are not crazy. You're just caught in a trap that was designed to keep you there. This isn't about quitting sweets. It's about breaking a chemical bond that's been controlling you for years. I can trace my sugar story all the way back to my childhood. I grew up in a house where food was love, and there was no rules or limits. And sugar? Well, it was the main language, right? Birthdays, you had cakes, holidays, cakes and pies and candy, good report cards, all celebrated with ice cream, cake, cookies. Even bad days, they ended, with here, have a treat. Sugar was comfort. It was reward. It was safety. So by the time I became an adult, it wasn't just a craving anymore. It had become a coping mechanism. Whenever life got hard, my brain always said, you know what'll fix this? Candy. And for a while it worked, until it didn't. And the scariest part, sugar doesn't just hijack your body, it rewires your emotions. There was a point in my life where I just couldn't go a single day without it. I'd finish dinner and immediately need something sweet. Like, I felt like I needed it. And if we ran out of dessert, I'd find something. Cereal, granola bars, even condiments like honey packets, anything that would give me that rush. And here's the wild thing. I told myself that I deserved it. That was balance. That it was just a little bit of sugar. But behind that, I was exhausted, I was anxious, bloated, and craving more. Always more. It felt like this invisible force was running the show. And honestly, it really was. Sugar isn't just addictive, it's seductive. And it convinces you that you're the problem when really it's the hook. So, this story is about how we did Halloween in our house for most of my adult life. So it was that time of year again. The stores were filled with candy just like now. And I made sure that I stocked up super duper early for all of the trick-or-treaters, who of course we were surely going to have come by. Yeah, I told myself I was being prepared. I always bought those really big family-sized bags. And of course, I'm going to buy all of my favorites because, if there were leftovers, someone had to eat them, right? And no one wants to eat candy you don't like. Here's the thing, though. We never really had any trick-or-treaters. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 kids would show up. But a lot of times, 0. Which meant those 10 bags of candy I just bought, that I bought for the kids that didn't show up, yeah, they were really for me. And that's when it got worse. It always got worse. Because the candy would sit there and it would call my name over and over and over again. And I would tell myself, I'll just have a few pieces. But then those few pieces would turn into a few more pieces. which would turn into a few handfuls. And before I knew it, that whole bag of candy was gone. And then another, and then another. And then the next day, I would go buy more because I had to have enough for those so-called trick-or-treaters, right? But when no little monster showed up at the door, guess who ended up with all the candy again? Yeah, me. That's when it really clicked. Well, this wasn't normal. Not at all. I wasn't just bad at diets. I was addicted. My brain had been trained for decades to use sugar as a dopamine hit. So to turn pain into pleasure, even if it was destroying me in the process. And if I didn't change something soon, I was going to spend the rest of my life, whatever time I had left, on that same cycle. When you can't stop thinking about your next fix, that is not a sweet tooth. That is a chemical dependency. And once I learned the science, everything really made sense. That sugar lights up your brain the same way addictive substances do. It spikes dopamine, the feel-good chemical, and then it crashes it. And that is what creates the craving loop. So you're going to start chasing that first high, and because sugar's in everything from sauces to salad dressings, your body is never getting a break. And add salt and fat into the mix, and you have the perfect storm. And that, my friends, is called the pleasure trap. And I was in it deep. But once I learned that this wasn't just about willpower, that my brain was literally wired for addiction, I stopped blaming myself. And that's when I could finally start to heal. You can't fight what you don't understand. And sugar's whole game is staying invisible. So how do you break free from something that's literally everywhere? Well, you start by cutting off its power source. For me, that meant going cold turkey. So no refined sugar, no added oils, no salt. Just whole, natural, high nutrient foods. And the first week was awful. I had headaches. To say I was irritable would be an understatement. Mood swings up and down galore. My body was detoxing. But something happened amazing around week 2. That fog, it started lifting. But I wasn't out of the woods yet. By week 3, my taste buds began to reset. I couldn't believe it. I could taste sweetness and fruit again. My energy came back and my anxiety started calming down. And for the first time in my adult life, I did not feel controlled by cravings. It's not that you lose your sweet tooth. You just finally give it real food, fruit, things like that. And they actually taste good again. The hardest part wasn't even giving up the sugar. It was replacing what it used to give me. So sugar would be a comfort and a joy, my little escape, if you will. So when it was gone, I had to find new ways to fill those gaps. That's where things like walking and journaling and mindfulness really came in handy. I started treating self-care like medicine. So not bubble baths and candles, those things are great, but I did things that actually rebalanced my nervous system. I learned to feel instead of numb, to sit with emotions instead of eat through them. And that's when my real healing started. Breaking the sugar spell isn't about cutting something out. It's about adding in what you're missing all along. So if you fast forward to now, and I can honestly say sugar doesn't control me anymore. Do I still see it everywhere? Of course, absolutely. Do I still remember how it made me feel? Yes. But it doesn't pull me in like it used to, because I'm not the same person who needed it then. I've retrained my brain, I've rebuilt my relationship with food, and I have proven to myself that I can live without the treat and still feel joy. That's what real food freedom feels like. It's not perfection, but it's this peace. And when your body is nourished, the cravings stop sounding like commands in being barked at you in your head. If you feel like sugar has control over you, please know this. It's not your fault. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are addicted to something that was engineered to addict you. But you can heal, your taste buds can reset, and your brain can rewire. Your body can calm down. It's not easy, but it's possible. I am living proof. So, don't let the candy curse convince you that you're stuck. You can break the spell. You just have to stop feeding it. You're not saying no to sugar. You are saying yes to peace. If this hits home for you, this is exactly what we dive into inside the community. We're going to focus on food addiction, recovery, mindset shifts, and how to break free from the habits that have kept you stuck, especially around sugar. And here's the best part. I'm doing it with you. We are going to walk this out together. So if you're ready to finally break free from food's control and start living fully again, click the link below and join that waitlist, because this isn't another diet. It's freedom. The candy curse used to rule my life. Now it's just a story I tell, a chapter that I closed for good. You don't have to live under that spell anymore. You just have to take the first step towards freedom. And I promise it's sweeter than anything sugar ever gave you. And until our next spooky conversation, stay kind to yourself, eat like you love yourself, and keep going. You are doing better than you think. Bye for now.